Hello, I'm Barbara Ingrassia, and I'm here at the ceremony to announce the 10 highest box office grossing American films of 1923 that will be entering the public domain on January 1st, 2019. Now, most of these are already available for viewing online, YouTube, or the Internet Archive. But the important thing is that they are entering the public domain on January 1st, 2019. They will be free to adapt, refilm, pull apart, put back together, write as novels or other screenplays. This is the exciting thing about tonight. So let's get started, shall we? Number 10 in box office sales in 1923, The White Sister. This was starring Lillian Gish and Ronald Colman and Gail Kane. This was a silent movie filmed in Italy in black and white, and this full of family intrigue and war, and Gish joins a convent. All of our films in the top 10 are black and white, silent films, with one little exception. Number 9 for box office hits in 1923, Scaramouche, a costume adventure drama starring Ramon Navarro and Alice Terry. Now, it's a French rebel masquerading as a clown to avenge his friend's murder. Number 8, Charlie Chaplin's The Pilgrim. Charlie Chaplin directs and stars as an escaped convict who poses as the new pastor of a small town church in Texas. Well, another Charlie Chaplin film of 1923, which is not in the top 10, but is notable, is A Woman of Paris. Now, this was written, directed, produced, and later scored by Charlie Chaplin, and it was very unusual for this time in his career because it was not a comedy, and he did not star in this film. He did make a very brief cameo appearance, which could escape your view. So these two unusual factors made it less than a stellar film for him at the box office. Back to our top 10 list. Number 7 at the box office, The Ne'er-Do-Well. This is based on a 1911 novel by Rex Beach. The adventure crime drama was released in 1916, and this adaptation then in 1923. Research is inconclusive, and this may already be in the public domain. As you know, the Center for the Study of the Public Domain at Duke University's School of Law has done much research into what's going to be released into the public domain in 1923. Much of their research involved looking for copyright renewals, which was a requirement during some of these years. And it's easier to find a renewal than it is to find that something was not renewed. And so some of these may have actually entered the public domain earlier, a few years ago, but there is no definitive proof. But now we know that they will definitely be in the public domain as of January 1st, 1923. So, number 6 at the box office, Homeward Bound. This is a sea drama, and ironically, everyone in the film survives a storm, But this film has not survived. It's considered to be lost because it no longer exists in any studio archives, any private collections, or in the Library of Congress. And that can happen because while you were required to submit the film to the Library of Congress to register a copyright, it was not required that the Library of Congress retain it. And so sometimes studios reclaim their copy. Also, because of the nitrates in the films, oftentimes they disintegrated, or studios didn't see silent films as to be particularly important once talkies came along. And if they needed the storage space, they disposed of them. They maybe even filmed over them. The nitrate was highly flammable, and some collections, poof, went up in flame. We're not quite sure what happened to Homeward Bound, but we don't have a full print of it. Now, number 5, Daddy, starring Jackie Coogan. The script was written by his parents, and Coogan plays the son of a poor violinist who separated from his father when the family divorces. The Daily Courier of Collinsville, Pennsylvania, was one of the papers that reviewed it very positively. They reported that the spectators at the theater were thrilled to hushed silence when little Jackie moved through the scene in which his guardian passes away and Jackie finds his real daddy. That's number 5, Daddy. Number 4 at the box office in 1923, Safety Last. It's viewed today as one of the great film comedies. It was a romantic comedy starring Harold Lloyd and includes one of the most famous images of the silent film era, Lloyd clutching the hands of a large clock as he dangles from the outside of a skyscraper above moving traffic. It's one of those images that really sticks to your mind, and subsequent scenes, similar scenes, evoke memories of Safety Last by Harold Lloyd. Harold Lloyd starred in the film, and his name in the film was Harold Lloyd. Number 3 at the box office, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, as is more appropriately pronounced. This is based on Victor Hugo's 1831 novel. And in this romantic drama with horror elements, we see Lon Chaney starring as the tortured hunchback Quasimodo. The original prints of the film, again, have not survived, so that what we are able to view are actually 16mm show-at-home prints that were distributed by Universal Pictures in the 20s and 30s. Again, this one may already be in the public domain because the paper trail of registration is inconclusive. Number 2, The 10 Commandments. This is the silent black and white version by Cecil B. DeMille, a religious epic film, and it's lauded for its immense and stupendous scenes. It did have some Technicolor processing tinting involved, and of course, the epic parting of the Red Sea sequence. It was remade later in 1956 in color with sound. Number 1 at the box office. Do you have any idea what was number 1 at the box office in 1923? The Covered Wagon, a romantic Western film directed by James Cruise. It was, in fact, the most popular movie in the United States and Canada in 1923. President Harding deemed it his favorite film, and it was shown with special screenings there in the White House. So there you have it, the top 10 films of 1923 at the box office. Which ones will go on your must-see list? Which ones have you never heard of? And more important, from our aspect in the public domain, where copyright restrictions no longer apply, which one would you remake? Whom would you cast in the primary roles? What detail or little plot element caught your eye and you can visualize it being a prequel or a sequel? Or maybe we even have a film franchise in the offing here. Well, today's technology makes it possible for us to take these copyright-free films and rewrite, adapt, self-publish very easily as short stories or novels, to refilm them and to share them online. The possibilities are endless. I hope you've enjoyed this countdown of the movies of top 10 movies of 1923. There are certainly others, but these are the top 10 grossing films. Thanks to the Center for the Study of the Public Domain at Duke University's School of Law, we have an Excel spreadsheet of the titles, and the link to that will be posted in the comments below this recording. I'm Barbara Ingrassia of Manage Copyright, and thank you for joining me for this countdown of the top 10 grossing films of 1923. We'll see you in the public domain, January 1st. Bye-bye.